So this is it. I've been dreading this since the beginning. This here is ground zero for me. This is when I really started to really paint this invisible landscape that our minds breathe and exhale. I don't know how much I want to show. I feel like just dump it in the box and be done with it. I'll show you piece by piece. That's the arbiter. That's your alter ego. So the idea is that your alter ego is the opposite of you. So everything you're good at, it's bad at, and everything it's good at, you're bad at. I remember now. And your alter ego. I remember now. I remember. So this is, I'll read it to you. Shame is a bottomless spiral. You can never see beyond the apex to see how far you've fallen or will continue to fall. It wants to maintain the struggle because it distracts from the progress of shame's plunge into destruction. This, I think, was the early stages of trying to document the conscious unit. Just some extra pipe cleaner. That's interesting. So notice how having torn everything down, it aids in the artistic aspect of it, where it's all distressed. That was an early drawing of what I'll show you in a little bit. So here's your alter ego. You're looking at yourself, you're rejecting yourself, and that's what your alter ego wants. And it spits out a piece of your identity, and there's the identity belt that circles you. As you reject yourself, you dispel your identity, and you give your alter ego, he wants your identity. That's why identity is so important. Constant tug-of-war between you and your alter ego. This is like a solar flare coming out of your brain. And then there's you, there's your ego, and there's your shame. And again, the red represents anxiety. So you're all connected at the hip, and it's trying to pull you in, pull you down. And then back to the previous drawing, something about roots. I don't know, but I quite like it. This is actually, this is in alignment with the male erection. So it's, depending on the curvature, it's related to 1-to-1 with how far down. This was the prototype for competitive geometry. So you know I have two on the site. Well, one in my first book, that was the first one, and then another one in my second book, 2.0. This is the prototype for competitive geometry. Gonna move the face out of the way. I forgot about that. That was the original underneath until I found that in my parents' house. So you see, like, all the senses wires. Oh, so there was one there that showed that. But all the senses are connected to, like, think like piano wire, connected to the. Anytime you engage someone through your senses, you're connected through piano wire, and this almost like fish gills, where it's like you're sending and receiving anxiety, and it's spilling into you, and it's spilling into the people you engage. That's connected to the mind, the left and right lobe, and that spins up into infinity. And then within that chain, within that, you're depositing a piece of yourself. Similar to, like I said, with the identity belt. So, just like ones and zeros that you're transmitting. So you're going down is anxiety, going up is joy. Elevate, de-elevate. 1, 0. And then there's different trajectories I was trying to explain. Anxiety going out, coming in. I won't pull this apart. See this dried date? We used to get a lot of ladybugs in the house. And the thing is around winter time maybe, and they die in the house, right? Because there's no food for them in the house, but somehow they manage to worm their way in. So this date, I had learned, I Googled that ladybugs will eat raisins or whatever. So I thought, well, we have dates, that's like a big raisin. So what I did was I put the date down like this, and I grabbed the ladybug and I placed it on the date. And I saw there was a little bit of activity in his mouth. So I said, okay, maybe nurse it back to health, but alas, a couple of days later, it didn't survive. So I still have the date, so I'm going to put it in here. This is something recent. That's a drawing. This is from my third book. Just a quick sketch. It was a vision I had at Christmas of all times. I don't know what to do with it. I'm not going to put it in this because it doesn't belong. I'm going to put it over here. That's, I forgot about that. That's the original. Big fucking nose. Looks like Matt's nose. On. Here's the key thing. So this is the gate that I realized. Selfish coward, selfish hypocrite. So that's the exchange, the valve for, I can't remember if it was not in the gut, but maybe it was in the present or the filter. I can't remember. But that, I knew that. That was me who did that. I didn't read that anymore. That's me. Selfish coward, selfish hypocrite, selfish coward. So that goes back to previous drawings. It shows the clutch plate. So obviously the opposite of that is selfless courage and selfless conviction. So that's something that I think I've documented in my books. Yeah, I'm just gonna throw these in. I can't remember whose quote this belongs to, but my psychiatrist gave me this quote, and it kind of, the eye see what the mind knows. You could also say the mind knows what the eye sees. Put that in there. Just kind of want to get this over with. This gut exhaustion. So I was thinking that when you don't exercise your gut instinct gums up, and it's what I think is the cause for cancer. You don't exercise your instinct, you don't exercise your gut. You stifle it, stifle it, stifle it, stifle it. It poisons you. That's why I can't do it anymore. Oh shit. See the I'm gonna use a piece so doesn't get lost. There. Is this getting on good? Yeah, it seems pretty good. There. Selfish coward, selfish hypocrite, selfish coward, selfish hypocrite. So here's the face. There's an eerie relation to it. Obviously, I was leaner back then, but it's very unsettling. Here's the top half. That's where it's split. See? Finally, we have this. It's meant to do that. So, just reading here. Perspective. The ultimate framework of the universe we consciously acknowledge, measured against our emotional footprint, experiencing flux. Within this, we have our blind spot. That's with this. We have a blind spot. And then you have effect of motional turbulence, and that's the arrows showing that it goes back and forth. It's kind of like doing those caves where you have the stalactites, stalactite, results in lack of coordination, flailing, I don't know. But this was a son of a bitch. It kept slipping. I had to put so much the sticky tack on this. Eventually it worked, but now at least it held up. It held up. I don't know if this is going to close. There it is. It's a bunch of shit under there. Well, I might as well look to see if it's upside down. Guess I could save this stuff. Not all of it. I can't remember what this is, but just to show you. I was trying to show like what logic would look like. I kind of like this. I think I'm going to keep it. So, there. It's nothing. There's shit. I'm just going to throw that stuff out underneath. But holy shit. This is clear. More or less. So I gotta clear this shit. Here's a look at the office now. It doesn't look like I've done much, but I have. I just went to the dump in town, and I threw out some old heavy equipment. I'm getting there, slowly but surely. I mean, now I don't know how much more I'm going to document of this. I don't know how much more of it is interesting. And then it just becomes about decluttering, and I don't know. I think it's good. I think it's good as is. I'll show you when it's all done. How about I just show you when it's all done, and then I'll discuss the possibilities of what will this room be turned into. So every day I'm gonna chip away at it. And we'll get there. Can't believe it's all, like, I'm kind of getting used to it, but I want to see what it looks like when it's done, when it's all done. So anyways, thanks for watching.